Hello, Seiya. It is 11:18 a.m. It will be lunchtime soon. Yeah, it's the other side of the world here. It's the other side of the world. Okay, so I'm only here for a very short time today because I have lunch plans with a friend today. So you have about 45 minutes to ask me questions about English. 45 minutes. So if you don't have questions, I can't help you. So you better have questions. All right? So ask me your questions. I'm an English teacher. Ask the teacher a question. Okay? I can only help you if you ask me questions. Can you ask me about IELTS preparation? Sure, yeah. What do you want to know about it? How can you improve spelling? Ramesh, English spelling is mostly practice, a lot of reading, and phonics. Okay? So you need good phonics so that you can imagine how it's spelled sometimes. You need to read so that you can see the words often, so you can see how they're spelled. Okay? And then you need to practice spelling more. That's really the only way. Spelling is tricky because English words come from many languages, and each of those languages spell things differently. So spelling is practice, practice, practice. Abdallah, I have an answer for you, but it requires you to read a little bit. Okay? This is an article that I wrote on my blog. It's called The Importance of Having a Vocabulary Learning System. Okay? The importance of having a vocabulary learning system. You forget words because you don't have a system for learning vocabulary. Read that article and you'll understand about how to make a system. Okay? And then I want you to, if you don't understand it, if you're having trouble understanding the article, you can copy it and paste it. Ask ChatGPT to help you understand it. Okay? You can copy it into ChatGPT and say, hey, I don't understand this article. Can you help me understand it? And it will. Okay? DK, the word is pizza, 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 pizza. Hello, Galina. Okay, once again, I am only here today for about 45 minutes, 40 minutes maybe. So if you have questions, you should ask them. If you don't ask me questions, then I can't help you. If you don't ask me questions, then I will just sit here and look cute. Okay? So ask me questions, because I don't want to look cute. Hello, Tiger. Thank you, Douglas. Thank you, Tiger. Hello, Coco. How are you? Ask me your questions. I'm waiting for your questions. I have great answers, but I cannot give them unless you ask for them. Let's see. Grammar. Is grammar important to improve your language or not? Yeah, of course. You need to learn grammar for any language. Okay? Of course you need to learn grammar. But it depends what you are doing with your language. Are you learning English because you want to travel or play video games with your friends? Or are you learning English because you want to take the IELTS test or go to college and study English? It depends on what your goals are. Okay? If your goal is to take the IELTS test, then you need to study grammar a lot. But if your goal is just to travel or to use English with your friends online, you need some grammar, but you shouldn't worry too much about it. It's okay if you make some mistakes. Life is not a grammar test. Language is for communication. Communication does not have to be perfect to be good. Okay? Sometimes you can say something and it can be a little bit off, but I know what you mean. That's really all that matters in real life. Okay? In your kitchen, you have a table. You clean that table every day. The table in your kitchen, you clean it every day. That's like grammar. Grammar is your kitchen table. You have to work on it every day. Just a little bit. Keep cleaning it. Keep cleaning it. Keep cleaning it. That's all you do with grammar. Clean the table every day. Okay? Okay, let's see. Dark L? I don't know what that means, DK. Hello, Amanda. Can I share with the writing test in the IELTS? Saya, I can tell you that all of the tests in the IELTS the biggest problem for you is the time. So when you're doing your writing test, you need to practice writing quickly. You need to practice getting your ideas out quickly. You need to practice making notes quickly so that you can make an answer with those notes quickly. All right? Saya, if you go to my website, this is my website. If you go to my website and subscribe, it's free. Just give me your email and you can subscribe to my website. On my website, there is a button called Resources. Click Resources and you will find everything you need to study English, including there's one link called IELTS and TOEFL Resources. And it has a bunch of great videos or it has a bunch of great links to every resource for the IELTS that you need. Okay? All right, next. Please help you with the dark... I don't know what a dark L sound is, DK. I can't help you with the dark L sound because I don't know what a dark L is. Okay? You're still studying pronunciation the wrong way, DK. That's why you're having trouble. You're still studying pronunciation the wrong way. You're focused on... I feel like you have a general problem that you focus on the little things that don't matter, but you're not focused on the big things that do matter, DK. So I'm not sure. I feel like sometimes you're focusing on the wrong things. You need to know what's important, and I think you don't. I think you don't know what's important. Okay? Please, think about what I just said, DK. I want you to think about what I just said and make more focus in your system. You need more focus. It's still, your questions are still too all over. There's a question from here and a question from there and a question from down there and there's no, I don't see any consistency. Okay? Cut into surgery. What does it mean? To cut into surgery. Where did you see this? I don't know what that means just by looking at that. I know what surgery is. I know what cut into is. But without... I need the full sentence so I can understand what they're trying to say about surgery. Do I like leftover pizza? I love leftover pizza. Well, if it's good pizza. If it was good pizza when it was fresh, then it's probably good pizza leftover. Sometimes it's better. Have you come, have you came, or had you come? Well, it depends on what you're trying to say, but probably have you come. Have you come home yet? I suppose you could say that, which would be a little bit weird, but let me think of another example. Have you come to look at the house? Right? Maybe you're selling your house and people are coming to look at it. So you say, have you come to look at the house? Okay. Thank you, Amanda. I was born in Brazil, and even so, I make mistakes when speaking Portuguese. So we will all make mistakes in other languages. Correct. Correct. Language is not about perfection. Hello, Mona. Should I go out of my way to use higher order words? Sometimes yes, and sometimes no, Tiger. Higher order words meaning just more difficult words, okay? More difficult, higher level words. Most of the time, I don't think you should force yourself to use these big words, okay? Because most of the time, they're not useful in common situations. But I do think it's useful occasionally to practice trying to use big words when you don't need to. Okay? So most of the time, when you're trying to communicate, you should use the words that make communication happen best. Okay? So if you're at 7-Eleven, use the words that are best to use in 7-Eleven. If you're having a meeting with your professor at the university, then use the words that are best in that environment. Right? Okay? So, most of the time, just use the language that you need for that environment. But occasionally, yes, you can practice trying to use very difficult words just to try to use them, even if it's a little bit weird because that environment doesn't really need those big words. Okay? Do people still use farewell? Yeah. People use yeah, but not often. You know, I wouldn't say it's common. It's more formal. Girl has the dark L sound. Okay, so girl, la 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 la. All right, so DK, you need to practice singing. La 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 la. Can you do that? La la. Because what you need is you need to learn how to curl your tongue. Girl, la 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 la. So practice la 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 la. Because the girl la. All right, and then when you practice girl, I want you to put the la sound on the end for now, like this. Girl. Girl, girl. Exaggerate the end of the word. Okay? And then eventually I want you to cut that sound off. And then you'll just have girl. Okay? If you often use simple sentences, will I not be able to recognize new words? How to master more vocabulary. Tiger, read the article about vocabulary that I posted. Let's see. Yeah, you need to read the article I wrote about vocabulary. That's the better way to learn vocabulary. Okay? Thank you for the gifts, everyone. I'm fine. How are you? Why present continuous isn't complete, and how is that? Because continuous means you're still doing it. Okay, so for example, am writing, right? Let me get my list. Right? She is writing. Is writing. You are still doing it right now. You're not stopped. You didn't finish. You are still doing it. So that's continuous, right? They are playing outside. Right now, they are outside and you can see them playing. So it's continuous at that time. It's not finished. Okay? They didn't finish playing. They're still playing right now. Okay, someone? All right, next question. Hello, Kessia. Kessia, my schedule is not that firm. Okay? I'm here Monday through Saturday in the morning, sometime. Sometimes it's 9:30 in the morning, sometimes it's 10:30. Today was a little bit later, around 11. Okay? And this is America, New York City time. New York City time. I don't live in New York City, but I have the same time zone. All right, so I'm usually here in the morning, around New York City morning time, somewhere between 9 and 11, let's call it. I start. That's when I start, somewhere between that time, okay? And I usually do about an hour to 2 hours, maybe a little longer sometimes, okay? And some days I'm not here because I'm busy, or some days I'm not here because I'm tired, or some days I'm not here because of something, okay? Because I need a break. All right. Can you get advanced vocab pronunciation? Yes. Yes, DK. Everything is on my website. If you haven't gone to my website yet, DK, that's a big mistake. Everything you need is there on my website. I don't know why you didn't go. You should know better. You've been watching me a long time. It's free. You have to just sign up with an email, but it's free. You were watching a video from a guy in Tennessee. His accent is called Tennessee Brando. His accent was very hard. Yeah, if he's from Tennessee and his accent is a Tennessee accent, it's probably a little weird for you. Tennessee is about 4 hours south of me, right where I live. I live in Ohio, which is in the middle of the United States. Okay? If I drive about 5 hours north, I can go to Canada. Maybe we'll call it 6 hours north. I can go to Canada. If I go about 4 hours south, I can go to the middle, like Tennessee. If I go maybe 12 hours south, I can go all the way to the coast of the Gulf, like Mississippi or Alabama. If I drive 21 hours, I can go all the way to the bottom of Florida. Anyway, next. Did I change the room for broadcast? I changed. It's the same room. I rearranged everything in the room. Same room. You speak English well, but you can't catch the accent until now. What do you mean by catch the accent? You mean you can't understand the accent? When is it time to teach? People say I should teach. It's time to teach when people say you should teach. You can, honestly, teaching is something I think everybody should do. Let me explain. I wrote an article about this. It's on my blog, about the value of teaching. Go read that article on my blog. Not everybody is a good teacher, but everybody should try to teach someone something, because it's very valuable for you to learn how to teach someone. When you learn how to teach someone, it helps you understand learning better. It's like learning the other side of learning, right? You've been a student. You know what it's like to be a student. Do you know what it's like to be a teacher? Teach something, and then you'll find out what it's like to be a teacher. Okay? All right, let's see. I gotta keep an eye on the time. All right, and next question is about what? Indefinite pronouns. Nina, indefinite pronouns are things like everyone, something, nobody, many, all, few. Those are all indefinite pronouns. Yeah, another Anybody, anyone, anything, each, either, everybody, everyone, everything. These are all indefinite pronouns. When you're talking about people, any word that ends with body or one is just talking about people in general. When you're talking about things, words that end in thing, like everything and anything, refer to things. When you're talking about places, like where, right? Everywhere, somewhere, those are places. Okay? So, Nina, did you have a specific question about indefinite pronouns? What do you not understand about them? What is a teacher supposed to do if she has more than half hyperactive ADHD students in one class because you can't control them? Malik, controlling your students is not only your job. Controlling your students is also the job of the school. It's the principal's job, too. So if you're having trouble, you should talk to the principal and say, this is not working, I need more help. Okay? If you have 10 ADHD students in your class, even the best teacher in the world will have trouble with that. Okay? And if you tell your boss that firmly but calmly, it should be clear. And then it's not like you're saying, I'm not good enough. You're saying, this is just, nobody can do this. We gotta work on this. We need to figure out how to make this work. This is not working. Okay? Most schools that I worked in did have cameras for security, Malik. So if my students were being really bad, there was a camera up there on the wall, and I could tell them, you know, I can record this and show your parents anytime. I can record your behavior, and your parents can see this. Everything you do is on camera. Okay? And Malik, if you don't have a camera, guess what? Go buy a broken one and put it up in the room. They won't know the difference. Okay? Sometimes students just need to feel like their behavior will be seen. Everything they do is being recorded, so then now they think a little bit differently about what they do. Okay, next question. What's the difference between affect and effect? Affect is the verb, and effect is the noun. There it is. I'm sorry, other way around. Affect is the verb, or is that what I said? I think that's what I said. Affect is the verb and effect is the noun. So, for example, many people, what they do is they remember that the word effect begins with E. E means eventually. Eventually. Eventually, this will happen. That's an effect. Okay? Effect. That's an effect. Okay? So to affect something, I affected you with my teaching. The effect is that you are a better student now. When I teach you, I am affecting you with an A. If you are a better student, that is an effect. Okay? Eventually, that will happen. So remember the word eventually. Those are effects. You mean you still speak English like how in Arabic? MK, you need more practice. You need more practice. Okay? It doesn't come. This is not a computer. You can't just buy a piece and put it in. You have to learn. It takes time. Okay? There's a message showing on my website to accept cookies. What are cookies? Cookies are something about the website remembering what you did. I don't know anything about it. It's not a problem from what I know. Just hit accept and then register. I assure you it should be fine. Okay? Is watching a movie the best way to learn English? No. And it's obvious it's not. If it was the best way, if it were the best way to watch movies, then why don't they do that in school? If you study any language in school, if you want to learn French, do they just let you watch French movies? If they want to learn English, do they let you just watch English movies? No! So of course, watching movies is not the best way, it's a way. It's the best way if you're lazy and you don't want to do any work and all you want to do is just watch movies, then it's a good way if you're lazy. It's a great way if you're lazy. If you want to really learn, then no, of course not. Ask yourself, bitter, how would I teach English? If I had to teach it, how would I teach it? Would I just tell somebody, just watch movies? No, you wouldn't. There's a lot more to it. How to think in English for an English learner. You have to start with simple English. Simple. Anything simple, change it to English. Okay? 今天我很累. Today I'm very tired. 今天我很饿. Today I'm very hungry. Okay? Any simple thought, change it. Everything is in the resources. Go look, DK. It'll take you all day to go through all of those links. Okay, again, DK, are you learning IPA? Because I don't know IPA. So sometimes you're describing things that I don't know about. I can't answer. I don't know what italic A sounds like because I did not learn IPA. Okay? All right, so the words ass and grass are both the same sound. Grass. Gr, ass. Ass. It's the same. Okay? I cannot speak Khmer or Cambodian. I can't speak Khmer. No, I don't know any Khmer. Sorry. Okay, DK, I really do want to help you. I know you want to learn. I just think that you're not focused. I feel like your questions are too unfocused. I want you to pick something and focus on it. And I think that you're focused on the wrong things. You're focused on pronunciation. DK, you still have big problems with writing and grammar and vocabulary. Pronunciation should be the last thing that you work on. Okay? I have been watching you for a long time. I know what your writing looks like. Your writing is a big problem still. Why are you not focused on that? You should be focused on your writing much more. Because your grammar needs work. Your speaking and your pronunciation are The pronunciation doesn't matter if your grammar is really, really bad for you. Okay, for you, DK. I know that you want a high level of English. You want a high level of English, so you need to go back and focus on your grammar. Okay? I'm a little bit harsh on some people sometimes. That's not a bad thing. You want a teacher to be honest with you. You don't want a teacher who always just says that everything you do is perfect the way you do it. That's not a teacher. Teachers have to tell you sometimes, no, that's wrong. Okay? Sometimes a teacher has to say, you're wrong. No. Okay? Okay, how to be confident in public speaking. I have been publicly speaking for 35 years. If you publicly speak for 35 years, you'll be good too. So my advice is start speaking. Confidence comes with experience. So get some experience. Can I tell you about either and neither? Sure. Either is the positive form and neither is the negative form. You can also pronounce them as either and neither. Either or neither nor. They're both fine, right? Either, either. Neither, neither. Both are fine, okay? And if you say, do you like chocolate or vanilla? You could say, I don't like either. Or you could say, neither. Okay? Neither means both. I don't like them, right? I don't like either means the same thing. Okay? So one is saying a positive thing in a negative way, and one is just saying a negative thing. All right? Neither can be used when you're talking about two things you don't like. Either can be used when you're talking about something you don't really care about. So, for example, do you want chocolate or vanilla ice cream? Either is fine. Either means I don't care. Chocolate, vanilla, whatever. It's the same to me. Okay? All right, I only have a few more minutes. What do I recommend for people who freeze in real-life English usage contests? Kessia, that's normal. The more you speak, the less that will happen. Everybody freezes. Everybody does that. It just is part of being new. It's the uncomfortability of something new. It's natural. But the more you do it, it's not new anymore. All right? If you do it more, then it's not new. Then you'll stop freezing. Okay? What kind of daily practice do I recommend for those who want to work remotely in English-speaking environments? Kessia, you need a good plan. You need to study 8 different things. You need to make a plan for 8 different things, all right? Reading, writing, listening, speaking, thinking, grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. So write down those 8 things and then grade yourself. First, I want you to think about each one and give yourself a score, 1 to 10, right? So how is your reading? Is your reading pretty good? Maybe it's an 8. Okay, good. How's your writing? Maybe your writing is not so good. It's a 4. All right? How is your speaking? How is your listening? How is your thinking? Oh, thinking. I've never tried thinking. My thinking is a 0. Okay? How is your grammar? So. It's a 5. All right? You need to work on your grammar. So first you need to think about each of the 8 areas of language. Then you need to grade yourself. And then based on your grade, make a plan to focus on the ones that are a problem, right? Whichever things you scored the lowest on, that's what you need to work the most on. All right, and if you follow me here and watch me regularly, you'll hear lots of tips about ways to practice, okay? Whatever I did, done, and I have been doing until now. Is that a question? Just talk in a harsh way. What? I'm not harsh. I'm firm. I'm firm, everybody. I'm not harsh. Come on. It's not that bad. Oh, there's my alarm. Okay, I have to wrap it up. I only have about 5 minutes. Vadim, hello, Vadim. Impudent, brazen, and cheeky. What's the difference? Cheeky is more of a British word. We don't really use it too much here in America. Cheeky is kind of like a naughty boy. A naughty little kid is a cheeky kid. Cheeky in America is more like a sarcastic jokester, right? Somebody who makes a lot of jokes with sarcasm. Oh, you're being cheeky, aren't you? You know, that's kind of cheekiness, all right? To be brazen is a more... brazen and impudent are pretty close. Impudent means you're acting in a way that I feel is rude. Like I'm the king and you're treating me like I'm a peasant. That's impudent. You impudent little peasant. Okay? So impudence means that you're assuming that you're better than you are, but somebody is telling you in a condescending way. To call somebody impudent is pretty condescending, really. Brazen is more like bold. Okay, so occasionally being brazen can be impudent, but occasionally being brazen can just be a positive thing of being bold. Being impudent is generally not a good thing. Nobody wants to be impudent. Teach you some idioms that you use in daily conversations. Okay, go to theidioms.com. I think it's that one. Okay, next question. Can you follow me? Of course you can follow me. 83,000 people follow me. Solicitation, how to use solicitation in a sentence. Why? Where did you get that word? Why do you think you need that word? I can tell you what it means. I don't know why you're learning it, though. It seems an odd word to focus on. You want to increase your English for long-distance work. Okay, so again, follow me here. Is it better to solve one problem at a time? No. Kessia, I think you need to treat your language like a table, and the table has 8 legs, and the legs need to be balanced. There needs to be balance in your language, okay? If you have great grammar, but really terrible, vocabulary, then your language is like this. If you have great pronunciation, but terrible speaking, then your language is like this. So the table legs need to come up and down equally, okay? Chetan, I'm sorry, I don't have any time. I have to go right now. I need to leave. I have a lunch appointment with a friend. Um, Take a guess or make a guess. Is there a difference? Take a guess is more common. Make a guess is the same. But take a guess is what we usually say. All right? Are there any recommendations for ebooks? Just go to my website and sign up on my website and then click the resources button. It's free. Just sign up on my website, click resources. You'll find a lot to study English. Okay? What should you do? Because many times I talk to you with these kinds of words, so I ask you time to time. So again, DK, I want to feel like you have a plan, but I don't feel like you have a plan. It sounds like you have the opposite problem that everybody else has. Everybody else, they don't have enough questions. Everybody who's here, if you don't have questions, that's a problem. But DK, you have too many questions, and your questions are not focused. They're so random that you cannot learn that way. Okay, if I tell you 2 plus 2 is 4, and that kind of cloud is a cumulonimbus cloud, and on Fridays we go to eat burgers at this restaurant, and then in France, in Paris, in 1775, this is what happened. That's what it sounds like to me when you're learning, because every question you have is so random that I feel like I can't see a plan. I can't see any kind of plan. All right, DK? And I think that's the problem from the beginning. You have great passion for learning English, DK. You probably have more passion than most people here for learning English. You've been watching me for a long time. I know you really, really want it, but I still think your passion is too uncontrolled. Your passion is out of control. Okay? Studying is like riding a horse. You have to be in control of the reins. All right? If you're not in control of the reins, the horse is going to go everywhere. Okay? So I want you to make a plan, DK, and I want you to have focus, and I want you to know, what should I be working on? What are my weaknesses, and what should I focus on, and what's really important? Because your accent is not the thing you need to work on. You need to work on the basics. Your accent is the paint on the car. The paint. Is the paint the first thing you work on a car? When you make a car, do you make the paint first? No! The paint is the last thing you do when you build a car. Okay? So your accent is the last thing you should work on when you're making your language. Okay? It's the last thing you need a basic pronunciation, but I don't think I think you probably have a good basic pronunciation. But you are like many, many Indian people. There are many Indian people who are so obsessed with accent that they're obsessed with, they don't think about language, they think about accent. It's all about accent to you, and that's not what it's supposed to be. All right? So what I want, DK, is I want you to make a plan. All right? Why don't I use colloquialisms and idioms on Hello Talk? I use idioms when they're necessary. I use them. Colloquialisms, I'm sure I use some occasionally too. But Orenbeck, I don't usually teach too many things like slang or colloquialisms or dialectical language because they are either temporary or regional, and not everybody needs them. Now, idioms I do teach. I have a whole live stream about idioms. I just haven't done it in a while. But if you go to my YouTube channel, there are a few videos where I teach nothing but idioms. Okay? Lots and lots of idioms. Okay? Okay, I need to go because I have lunch plans with a friend. Fair enough and few enough. Okay, that's the last question I'm going to answer. Few enough is kind of weird. I don't know where you would say few enough. Fair enough just means, okay, I think that's fair. So if someone says, you do this and you do this, and you say, oh, fair enough, you're saying, okay, I can agree to that. I think that's okay. I think that's fair. Okay? So few enough, I don't know when you would say we have few enough, I have few enough, there are few enough. That doesn't seem, I don't think that's a thing. I can't think of an example of where you would say few enough. Yeah, I don't think that's often put together, okay? Okay, guys, I must go. If you want to follow me, then follow me. Come back. I have 83,000 followers. They follow me to learn English, okay? I know I'm somewhat rude sometimes, but it's because I want you to be better, all right? I care about what I do. So occasionally I might yell at you, but it's a good yelling, all right? I like you, DK. I respect you, DK. I just want you to do better, all right? And I think you can, but I expect more. I want you to try harder in the right ways, DK. You try very hard, but I think you try in the wrong ways. All right? You have to have a good way. All right. I must go. Take care. I'll see you guys Monday. I'm not here on Sundays, so I'll see you guys on Monday. All right? Have a good morning. Have a good afternoon. Have a good evening. Bye-bye, everyone.